History is full of epic battles, clashes of empires that decided the fate of nations. But what if I told you one of the most important battles in world history is one you've probably never even heard of? It wasn't about conquering vast lands or toppling a famous king. Instead, it was a battle that quietly, almost secretly, changed the course of civilization itself. This is the story of the Battle of Talas, a forgotten conflict in a remote river valley that determined who would control the heart of Asia. And more importantly, who would control a technology that would change the world forever: papermaking. Imagine the year is 751 AD. The world is a patchwork of mighty empires. In the west, the Carolingian dynasty is rising in Europe. In the east, China's Tang Dynasty is at its absolute zenith. Under Emperor Xuanzang, the Tang Empire is a beacon of culture, power, and innovation. Its cities are the largest and most sophisticated on earth, its poetry is legendary, and its influence stretches far across Asia. The Tang were the undisputed superpower of the East. Meanwhile, a new force was surging from the West. The Abbasid Caliphate, having recently overthrown the Umayyads, was a dynamic and expansionist Islamic empire. Centered in the Middle East, its ambition was limitless. They were pushing eastwards, spreading their faith and extending their political control with incredible speed and military might. Between these two colossal empires lay Central Asia, a vibrant mosaic of cultures, kingdoms, and trade routes. This was the heartland of the Silk Road, the vital artery connecting East and West. For centuries, merchants, monks, and armies had traversed these lands. Controlling Central Asia meant controlling the immense wealth and knowledge that flowed along these routes, and right in the middle of it all was the Talas River Valley. In modern-day Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan, this was the inevitable collision point. The stage was set for a monumental clash. On one side, the Tang Dynasty, commanded by the brilliant general Gao Xianzi. Gao was a formidable figure, of Korean descent, who had won stunning victories for the Tang in the rugged mountains of the Pamirs and the Hindu Kush. He was leading an army of around 30,000 elite Tang soldiers and their local allies. Their goal was to cement Tang dominance over the region and push back the encroaching Arab influence. On the other side stood the Abbasid army, led by Ziyad ibn Salih. Their forces were larger, perhaps numbering over 50,000, and were composed of Arab and Persian troops, bolstered by a crucial alliance with the local Tibetan Empire and, most importantly, the Karluk Turks. The Karluks were a nomadic Turkic tribe who had previously been allied with the Tang. Their loyalties, however, were shifting. In July of 751, these two armies met on the banks of the Talas River. For 5 grueling days, the battle raged. The smaller, highly disciplined Tang army held its ground against the larger Abbasid force. General Gao Xianzi's tactics were masterful, and it seemed as though the Tang might just pull off another miraculous victory against overwhelming odds. The fate of Central Asia hung in the balance. Then, on the 5th day, the unthinkable happened. The Karluk Turks, who were fighting alongside the Tang, suddenly switched sides. In the heat of battle, they turned on their allies, attacking the Tang army from the rear while the Abbasids pressed their assault from the front. Caught in a pincer movement, the Tang formation shattered. Chaos erupted. What followed was not a battle, but a massacre. The Tang army was decimated. General Gao Xianzi barely managed to escape with a few thousand of his men. The rest were either killed or captured. It was a catastrophic defeat for the Tang Dynasty, their first and last major confrontation with an Arab army. The westward expansion of the mighty Tang Empire was halted, permanently. They would never again project their power so far into Central Asia. The region, for the next 1,000 years, would fall under the influence of the Islamic world. This political shift was monumental. It redrew the map of Asia and reshaped cultural and religious boundaries for centuries to come. The Silk Road, once a conduit for Buddhist and Chinese culture moving west, now became a highway for Islam spreading east. But the most profound consequence of the Battle of Talas wasn't decided on the battlefield. It was decided in the prison camps afterward, among the thousands of Tang soldiers captured by the Abbasids were skilled artisans and craftsmen. And among these craftsmen were men who possessed a closely guarded Chinese secret, a technology so valuable that it had been kept within China's borders for centuries. This secret was the art of making paper. Before this, the world outside of China wrote on parchment, made from animal skin, or papyrus, made from reeds. Both were incredibly expensive, difficult to produce, and cumbersome. Knowledge was a luxury item, accessible only to the very wealthy and powerful. The Chinese invention of paper, made from mulberry bark, hemp, and old rags, was revolutionary. It was cheap, easy to make, and lightweight. When the Abbasids learned the secret of papermaking from their Chinese prisoners, they immediately recognized its incredible potential. They established the first paper mill outside of China in Samarkand, a city near the Talas battlefield. From Samarkand, the technology spread like wildfire throughout the Islamic world. Paper mills sprung up in Baghdad, Damascus, and Cairo. This explosion in paper production fueled a golden age of Islamic science, mathematics, literature, and philosophy. Libraries, like the legendary House of Wisdom in Baghdad, swelled with books on every imaginable subject. Scholars could now easily record, copy, and share knowledge. Complex ideas in algebra, astronomy, and medicine could be disseminated on a scale never before possible. The intellectual flourishing of the Islamic Golden Age was literally built on paper, a technology captured at Talas. From the Islamic world, papermaking technology slowly made its way into Europe. It arrived in Spain with the Moors, then spread to Italy and Germany. It took nearly 500 years after the Battle of Talas for the first paper mill to be built in Christian Europe. But once it arrived, its impact was just as transformative. The availability of cheap paper was a crucial precondition for Johannes Gutenberg's invention of the printing press in the 15th century. Think about it. The printing press, the Renaissance, the Protestant Reformation, the Scientific Revolution. All of these world-changing movements were dependent on the mass production and distribution of information. And all of it was made possible by paper, a technology that was pried from China's grasp in a single, forgotten battle in a remote Central Asian valley. The Battle of Talas is a powerful reminder that history often turns on small hinges. It wasn't just a clash of armies, it was a clash of civilizations that resulted in one of the most important technology transfers in human history. The Tang Dynasty lost the battle and its foothold in Central Asia. But in doing so, they inadvertently gave the world one of its most powerful gifts. The next time you pick up a book, write on a notepad, or even print a document, remember the long journey that piece of paper took, a journey that began with a fateful battle on the banks of the Talas River in 751. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden corners of history. Let me know in the comments what other forgotten battles you think changed the world. See you next time.